everybody! CW here. Excuse my messy bench. Lots of projects going on. I've begun doing a lot of fitting on that barrel, so I got wood chips everywhere. I really got to clean this up, but I got little pieces over here, I got little pieces over here, I got little pieces over here. But let's talk about the latest thing. Okay, Thompson centers. I have been wanting a 6mm Contender for a while. I've got a bunch of 6mm light bullets. When I built up the 6mm rem, I bought a couple of bunches of bullets off of guys on forums. You know, somebody getting out of 6mm, they had 10 boxes of bullets, 62 this one, 59 of this one, 40 of that one, that kind of thing, you know. Just cleaning off the bench, stuff they weren't going to use anymore. So I didn't need everything that they had to offer, but they wouldn't break it up, and to get what I wanted, I had to buy everything. It wasn't expensive, it's not about that, but my point is I accumulated, oh man, 7-8 boxes of bullets from 55 grains to, I'm going to say 85, 87 grains that I really don't use. I was hoping I could shoot them up in the arc, and I can. They do shoot okay. But I don't really play with it much. I found a dynamite load with an 85 grain Sierra and Spear, and 87 grain Hornady shoot really good. Another friend on a forum had a bunch of 87 grains that he didn't need, and we worked out a deal, and he sent them to me. Thanks, Glazers. That's great. I enjoy them, and I'm probably going to shoot some in here because they're supposed to be really good in this. And what this is something that popped up just last week on another forum that I'm on Graybeards, and it is a custom shop Thompson Center 6mm TCU. There it is right there. I'm hoping you can see it. I can't see the video screen, but Thompson Center. And over here, of course, is where it says it's a custom shop. TC Custom Shop. Very, very cool. Matte finished bull barrel. Nothing really fancy per se. They come in a matte finish, not the gloss blued. So that's a telltale sign if you see a matte finished barrel. But some of the special barrels were matte finished too, so it's not a gimme if it's like that. The price was fair, but when you consider it came with this quick release Leopold base and it included shipping, it was a darn good deal. So I jumped on it right away and texted the guy. We got in contact. He shipped it out right away, and it arrived here in like 4 days from Tennessee. So I am super pleased. In the meantime, being that I've never had this caliber, I didn't have dies. So I looked around, and everybody's out of stock except for Graf's, and they only have Hornady dies, which are okay. I don't hate them. They're not my favorite. So I put up a couple of want ads in a couple of the forums that I'm on, seeing if anybody had any laying around that they didn't need or were willing to sell. And didn't get any takers there, but looking on eBay, I found a set that was mismarked. Not really mismarked. It wasn't marked for what it was. It was just marked 6mm, but when I looked close, I could see they were a set of Durachrome 6mm TCU. And I messaged the guy, but he never got back to me. But I could see from the pictures of what they were, so I wasn't overly worried. He had a little bit too much on the price for them. So nothing's for sale here, so I'm not going to talk prices, but I made him an offer. He accepted the offer right away. And I got up in the morning and I saw that eBay had already charged my account and they were paid for. Unfortunately, that was 5 days ago. I've emailed this guy twice. No response. I don't think it's a scam. He's got a pretty high rating on eBay, but he's a slow shipper. So he hasn't done anything, or if he has shipped it, he hasn't updated the account with tracking numbers. So it says I'll have it Monday, I ain't going to have it Monday. He hasn't even shipped it yet. I can't see where he is. So I'm a bit concerned, not so much for a scam, just for slowness. But in doing some searching and doing some reading, I discovered that I can load this, because I don't have brass or anything, I have to make it. I can load this with 223 dies and my 6mm mandrel to open the necks up. So here's what I've done. I went through all my brass. I put out a short last week where I was swaging the primer pockets. So this is a bunch of, if it'll focus for us, spear brass that I got back at a shoot back in 2010, I think, 2010 or 2011. And the guys were shooting, I guess, supplied ammunition. It was all Spear law enforcement ammunition, and they didn't want any of the brass. So I picked everything up. And I've had it sitting here for, 15 years. And decided to turn it all into TCU brass. So what that entailed for me was to first clean it, first decap it, then clean it. Then I swaged the primer pockets. Then I annealed it. And then I opened all the necks up to 6mm. One mistake I made was I should have sized it with a 223 die first. Then done everything else and lastly opened the necks up. Because then I could have just loaded it and used it. So now what I've got is 250 or so very nice, ready to use, perfect pieces of brass that have not been sized. So they won't go in the gun. I didn't realize that I could size them in a 223 and then open the necks and have them work. Because what this cartridge is, and let me throw in a picture here. So there's a case drawing. Basically, it's a 223 case. 223 case is 375 at the base and about 350-ish right here at the shoulder. So it's a slight taper. This cartridge, the TCU, the 6 TCU, is 375 at the base, tapering to 370. So it's a lot bigger around in relationship. It's a lot bigger around. So the shoulder's blown out. The case is blown out to give you a little more powder capacity. The shoulder angle on a 223 is 23 degrees. The shoulder angle on a TCU is 40 degrees. So it's a lot more common to what we're seeing today with a lot of cartridges. So what that does also is it increases your powder capacity just a little bit more. So you're getting a modern, efficient case. But all those dimensions happen from the base of the neck down. So a conventional loaded, resized 223 case will fit in the chamber just fine. Now this one here won't fit because, my extractor out, it won't matter, it doesn't go in all the way anyway, because the case is not sized, so it's a little bulged. So the dimensions at the base are fine, it goes in just about that far and then stops because it's swelled. But of course it's 6mm, not 223, but the rest of the dimensions are the same. So I could have, in effect, sized these first in 223, and then I could have loaded them and used them. So what I had to do was I had to go back to make up some dummy loads without having dies. I cast up a whole bunch of 95 grain RCBS bullets, because what I want to do is I want to seat them long so they're into the rifling to create a 100% headspace situation. So when this case blows out, and the shoulder forms, I'm getting a perfect sized case, formed case for my chamber. So what I had to do was, this is the same Spear brass, I had to go back and size it with a 223 sizer, and then open the neck back up with the mandrel die, and then load it. So this is just a starting load with 680 powder and a 95 grain RCBS gas check bullet. Seated to maximum length that I had dimensions for. So, and I just loaded up, it happened to be 23 to make an even number. But just enough that I can shoot the gun, get a couple of formed cases, see what the chamber looks like, possibly get it sighted in, and start enjoying it. So there we go. We're going to have a few videos on this. I'll make up loads. We'll go through a couple different things. It's supposed to be super accurate. In a 15-inch barrel, you're not getting screaming velocities. I believe 87 grain bullet should be around 2,400 feet per second. So respectable, but we're talking, you know, Hornet type velocities, but with much heavier bullets. You know, 87 grain, 85 grain, 55 grainers can go in pretty quick. And they also made these in carbines, and in carbines, this would be a dandy caliber in a carbine. It would be a lot like the more modern or more current, what's it called? The 6mm Max, I think it's called. That uses a 350 Legend case, neck to 6mm. So it ought to be pretty close to that if the pressures were the same. I think this is loaded to 50,000 units. Pretty sure it's about the same as what you'd find as a dented shoulder, but it won't hurt, it'll blow out. About the same as what you see with 223. So with this size case head, it's fine in the Contender, but that's about the limit for the Contender, about 50, 52. So watch for them coming up. We got some videos coming up. Today I'm going to go and shoot this for the first time. As you're watching this, this would have happened probably a month ago. So right now we are the week after Easter as I'm filming this. So we'll see how it goes. So stay tuned. God bless everybody. CW out.